Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk about all major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and more. I'm Chris, and last night we got another awesome episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney+, and today we're talking about the main points of what happened in the episode and a few crucial breakdowns for your pleasure. And of course, an ending explained. And there was a post-credit scene in this episode, so be sure to stay till the end of the video so you can get all of that information, as we will be buckling down for a huge final episode, episode 6 of the series next week. And honestly, Marvel has us guessing. We are on our toes and we are very unsure as to what this season is going to conclude and how they're going to piece it all together. They've done an excellent job of hiding it from the trailers, other promotions, and of course from filming, all of that. And I myself am even left guessing as to what is going to happen. A lot of things are up in the air, and I can't wait to find it out. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all major movie and television news, especially Marvel and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which we cover as part of our daily video uploads. Let's start right at the very beginning with an incredible fight sequence, as we knew was coming, between John Walker, Bucky, and Sam. This picks up right where the episode 4 left off, when he absolutely dismantled and dismembered a person after the death of Battlestar. He runs off and away, Bucky and Sam chase him, and they have this insane fight scene. And quite frankly, there isn't much I can say to visually compare how great that scene was, so make sure you go and check out this fight scene. Super awesome. But the way it ends is Captain America, or John Walker now at this point, his arm gets broken, Bucky and Sam get away with the shield, and Falcon's suit gets completely trashed. The wings are actually ripped off by US Agent. But US Agent goes back to America, where he has a council meeting, and he's going to probably get in a lot of trouble. We're going to hear a little bit about that in a second. Sam and Bucky, however, their work is done, as the government has taken over the search for the Flag Smashers, and they've been kind of grounded. So Sam heads back to Louisiana, and Bucky goes off to find Zemo. We then see a very emotional council meeting where John Walker is getting discharged, loses his title, loses everything, all of his work in the military. It's all stripped away from him, and he is left without anything. He leaves the council meeting extremely upset and extremely angry. Some could even say deranged. The guy has gone off his rocker, and he's had a very tough experience. You can't help but feel for the guy. Even I know he's not the greatest person, but I'm sitting there feeling terrible for the situation he's in. It was extremely difficult, and they wouldn't even let him explain himself. But they specifically say, "You're not Captain America anymore." And this is a part where he does yell extremely angrily, "I am Captain America," and they respond with, "Not anymore, you're not." We then see Bucky and Zemo, and this is a scene we have been waiting for a long time. Bucky has the gun to Zemo's head. He pulls the trigger, but there are no bullets. We see him drop them to the ground. Zemo is then turned over to the Dora Milaje, where they explain that he is going to be taken to the Raft, which is the jail facility, and this is very important, because who's in charge of the Raft? Thunderbolt Ross, 100%. So this is a huge connection to the potential future of the Thunderbolts, and there are some other cool factors that we could take into place here if we think about the fact that Black Widow takes place way before Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but we know Ross is involved, so it's possible Taskmaster is also at the Raft. And maybe John Walker, by the end of this series, depending on what happens in the finale, will also end up getting sent to Raft. So these characters are all being lined up and groomed to be in the Thunderbolts, and that really is super exciting to see, and I hope that's the direction they're heading with that. But the fact that the Dora Milaje dropped the fact that they're bringing him to Raft is a huge hint moving forward that he could end up being a part of the Thunderbolts, because Thunderbolt Ross is in charge of that facility. We then get one last favor from Bucky to the Wakandans. He says, "Hey, I have one more favor," and even though they're upset with him, we find out later that they did go ahead and help him, and we'll get to that in just a second. We pan back to Sam, who is in the hunt for Isaiah, who's going to talk to him about what exactly happened, what's going on. He brings the shield, and there is this very deep connection and heartfelt discussion about what exactly did go down. And the very important line is said, "America will never allow a black Captain America, and even if they did, no self-respecting black man would take up that shield." I think this is a very important question. I think Marvel wants us to ask ourselves if that's even true till today. And I think Sam has a lot of figuring out to do, and it has been left to him to decide whether or not that statement remains true in this day and age, or if people can look up to a Captain America of that origin, if people can get past all of the racial issues that are obviously unignorable in this series and in the world today, which is a really cool thing to see from Marvel, to have these relatable and very deeply connected issues in their series. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out. And we even do see Bucky later on apologize to Sam for not thinking about it, for not understanding, and for not being able to. He said, nor I or Captain America, Steve Rogers, would have been able to understand or even begin to understand that. So it was really cool to see that come full circle, and the ball's in Sam's court now on whether or not he wants to move forward with the ability to be Captain America. And that's a decision we're going to have to see in the finale. The next good chunk of the episode is Sam in Louisiana, hanging out with his sister and his nephews. We see he gets the town together to help him fix up the boat so that they can sell it, which ultimately they decide not to sell, which is super cool to see that they decided to fight for that. And Sam even says, I'm going to lose a lot of fights, and I have lost a lot of fights, but this isn't one I can lose. And while they're fixing up the boat, we see Bucky show up to help out and to talk to Sam. He brings his favor from Wakanda, which is a suitcase which is given to Sam. Now, we can all only assume that this is going to be Sam's new outfit, his new suit for Captain America, the comic book accurate one that we've seen leaks for. I'm going to assume it's going to have the wings, it's probably going to be made of vibranium, and it's definitely going to have Wakanda tech. So Sam is going to be decked out if and when he decides to take up the shield, become Captain America, and wear that super awesome Wakanda suit. So that's really cool to see, but they go into training mode. We do finally see that scene which we've seen from the very beginning of the promotional videos of the shield being tossed around into the trees and Sam into training. And we get a whole training montage where Sam's not so great with it at first, but eventually picks up the ability to use the shield, and he's obviously training for something, and what else other than using the shield as Captain America. And it looks like that's where we're going to land, which I think all of us pretty much assumed was going to happen anyway. But Sam picking up the shield, becoming Captain America, and representing the United States of America and Marvel heroes all around the world as he plays that role. So I'm excited for that to play out too. There is a scene with Sharon, and it is very weird, and it is very confusing, and I no longer know what to expect from her character. In the scene, she's talking to Batroc, who we know is a bad guy. She's asking for help from him. She reveals that she's the one that let him out of jail. Later on, we see the Flag Smashers are gathering in New York because they're planning on hacking and storming the GRC meeting where they're planning on moving all of the refugees. And Batroc shows up with new weapons upgrades, and he was sent by Sharon Carter. So I don't think she can be the power broker or even necessarily working for the power broker because the power broker wants the Flag Smashers. So I don't understand how she would be helping the Flag Smashers because in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't connect up. And I'm also confused because Batroc wants to kill Falcon because Falcon ruined everything that Batroc had going on. So that's also very curious because I wonder why Sharon would allow Falcon to fall into harm's way. I mean, at the end of the day, she still is the descendant of Peggy Carter. She still has a huge, rich character line in the MCU, and I don't see her going full-on villain. But it will be interesting to see how that all plays out in the finale, and hopefully we get some answers about the power broker, about Sharon, and about how all of these things connect, and it's not just one huge cliffhanger. But we'll have to wait to find out about that as well, as that was all we got from Sharon in this episode. The way the episode ends, the GRC is holding their global meeting, trying to figure out what they need to do with these refugees, and we see that the Flag Smashers take over the meeting. We don't get any special message or anything like that from them hacking it, as it kind of flashes away after the room turns red and has been taken over. But we do go over to Sam, who is looking at this chest that came from Bucky and has the suit in it, we're presuming. He opens it up, gets this crazed look in his eye, and that's the end of the episode. We didn't even get to see what was in the chest, even though we all pretty much have an idea as to what it is. Now, the post-credit scene, and I'm going to also talk about the quote-unquote secret cameo because they kind of go hand in hand, although the secret cameo showed up way earlier on after John Walker's hearing, where she shows up to him while he's having a conversation with his wife and says, "I'm Valentina Allegra de Fontaine," and she says it several times because it's a long difficult name. She tells him to call her Val and then says, but do that in your head. She seems like a very serious woman, and we're not really sure who she is, and she's never specifically mentioned as a character or as a title, but most of us are assuming she is Madam Hydra. So that is a huge play, and very interesting to see how that peaks in, because there might be a connection between her and Thunderbolt Ross, and this is part of the recruiting process for U.S. Agent to join the Thunderbolts, if they don't decide to go the Raft route where he gets sent to prison and he gets recruited that way. It is very curious to see how he gets involved with Hydra, or if Hydra's still alive, and obviously they are. You cut off one head, 3 heads grow back. There's no way Hydra's gone, but it was a very interesting secret cameo that was hyped up a bunch, and it was kind of curious. We don't know exactly where they're going with this or what the direction is, but it does bring us to the post-credit scene, which is John Walker off his rocker building his own shield in a very Iron Man-esque fashion. It felt very early Iron Man as he's in his garage pounding out this shield of his own because he lost his and the title of Captain America, and we're going to see him take on somebody, probably Sam and Bucky, in the finale, and that is going to be insane. This entire finale is going to be insane. I know I keep saying that and it's very repetitious, but that is all the words I have for it, as none of the promotions, trailers, updates, posters, leaks that we have really shown us how the finale ends, and I'm very curious to see this. Everybody's kind of gathering up in New York, which is a huge Marvel hotspot. A lot of characters that could or would show up in this instance. The GRC is there, the Flag Smashers are there, and everybody's gathering up for one huge final showdown with a shield and a half. We'll call it a shield and a half because one's made of vibranium and one's made of scraps out of John Walker's garage. So curious to see how that plays out, and it is going to for sure be an interesting finale with a lot of excitement. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section down below. What did you catch? What did you notice? A lot of excitement coming from this episode. Probably the best episode without a doubt for me. Definitely followed up the 4th with a very promising finale lead on, and here we wait for one more week until it all wraps up. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Thank you guys so much to everybody who joined in the watch party. Be sure to subscribe and enter our Captain America Shield giveaway. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel and subscribe to the Cosmic Wonder. We'll be picking one random comment on a video, so be sure to comment as well as you're watching the videos. And with that, guys, I'm going to finish up, so I will see you in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.